Okay, this is a picture of the calculator that you're going to be allowed to use on this exam. It's a Casio FX260 Solar. Okay? There's varieties of this calculator. Some say 260 Solar and then the Roman numeral 2. Okay, yours does not. Yours says 260 Solar and then the word fraction. This is what the CLC Testing Center told me you're going to get to use. Okay, so I have no first-hand experience, but that's what they tell me. Now, there's a couple things about this calculator that I'm not in love with, but it is what it is. The negative button, big difference from what I was doing on previous videos with the negative. See that little plus minus button? I kind of referenced that some of the older style calculators use that button, and maybe older wasn't the most appropriate word, but old-fashioned style calculator uses those buttons. And here's the issue with them. If I want to put a -5 in this, and I just have, this is just a photograph, I can't actually do it, but I'm just going to show you what you would have to do. If I want to put a -5, I have to first type the number 5. Then I hit this plus minus button, and it will turn it into a -5 on the screen. So it's like a reverse operation, the number first and then the negative sign. Okay, so you're going to have to be careful about that with negative numbers. Okay, what I was doing with these other calculators, you know, I pulled up this calculator a few times, and I'm gonna pull up this one right now. Those calculators all have this minus sign at the bottom, and then that's different. You hit the minus sign first and then the number with those. But with this style, you hit the number first and then the minus. Okay, so we got to be careful about that. We're going to be talking square roots in the next video, or maybe the next 2 videos, whatever it is. Same thing. I know we haven't talked square roots yet, but if you have any idea what a square root is, it's kind of a goofy symbol that looks like that, and then you put some number inside here, like the square root of 64. On most newer calculators, and I'll pull up this one. I mean, it's just a junky $10 calculator, but it's got this newer style. On this type of calculator, you got to find your square root button, which in this case is above the X square button. I have to hit a shift key, but I would just put in a 64, or excuse me, I would not do that. I would say I want to take the square root, and it gives me the little symbol there, and then put in a 64, and then I'll talk more about the parentheses and all that, but I'm just going to hit equals. I get an 8. Okay? This style calculator is again backwards. Okay? Your square root button is above your X square key, kind of like mine was, so you have to hit a shift to get to it. But what you're going to have to do is hit the 64 first, and then hit, shift, and hold down shift and hit the X square button, and then that'll give you, the square root symbol is hidden up there. Okay, so you have to do it backwards. The number first and then the square root button, and it'll spit out an 8 for you. So, watch out for that. If you can get your hands on one of these calculators and play with it, that would be great, or maybe watch some YouTube videos about it. But it's the Casio FX260 Solar with the fraction. Now, fraction. One nice thing about this calculator, see this fraction button here? That button will reduce fractions for you automatically, and it'll add, subtract, multiply, and divide fractions for you automatically. What we had done is doing that all by hand, common denominators and all that nonsense, and it takes time, and time is limited on these exams. So again, I don't have this particular calculator, but I have my similar one. Let me pull it up, and we'll add some fractions on here, and I'll show you how easy it is. I don't know if it would be better if I turn my light on. No, I don't think so. Off. Okay. You see my button, my A, B, C. It's like a mixed number. Capital A and then BC there. If I put a fraction in there, let's say I put in, 50 over 100, which we know 50 out of 100 is a half, right? So 50, hit the fraction button, 100, hit my equal button, and it automatically reduces that fraction for me into 1/2. See that? Nice and easy. Not now. Okay. let's do something else. Let's add fractions. Let's add 2/3 and 3/4. Okay, so 2 fraction button thirds plus 3 fraction button fourths equals the mixed number 1 and 5/12. That little 1 with that little U-looking creature, that's your whole number 1, and then your fraction of 5/12. So 2/3 plus 3/4 is going to be 1 and 5/12. So it's a mixed number. Okay, let's subtract. Let's subtract 8/17 minus I don't know, 5/6. 5/6. We're going to get some goofy thing here. What are we going to get? Negative 37/102. 10 seconds. 1 over 102. Negative 37 over 102. That would have been a tough one to do by hand, right? Okay, we can also put mixed numbers in here. I just hit that button twice. So let's say I want to put in the number 5 and 1/2. 5 fraction button 1 fraction button half equals, there you go, mixed number 5 and 1/2. Okay, so that fraction button is nice, and you will have that on your calculator. Looks similar to mine. A, B over C, okay? So that is one nice feature about the calculator, but the square root that we're going to talk about shortly and the negative button, I don't like how they're kind of reversed. So like I said, at the bare bones minimum, pull up some YouTube videos on this calculator and figure out, watch it and see how people play around with that calculator and do calculations. Casio FX260 solar fraction, okay?